Okay, so today is 9.2, and it's just the same thing. We're going to compare fractions with the same denominator. Okay, that's the bottom number, denominator D. D means down. Last lesson, we did kind of a little bit of mix of both, and that was to kind of introduce you to let you know, hey, some of these are a little bit different. Now, this lesson, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be a little bit easier. Fractions with the same denominator means they have the same number of pieces. If they have the same number of pieces, we look at the numerator. Okay, and I'll show you. So it says Jeremy and Christina are making quilt blocks. Both blocks are the same size and both are made of 4 equal size squares. 2/4 of Jeremy's squares are green, 1/4 of Christina's squares are green. Whose quilt has more green blocks? I didn't underline that well. And this is simple. Look, they're the same. They both have 4. So Jeremy, we know, has 2. And Christina has just 1. So that's easy to look at. What has more, 2 out of 4 or 1 out of 4? Hopefully, you guys can see that 2 out of 4 is greater than. So I always just say the alligator eats the bigger number. So Jeremy's quilt block has more green squares. Okay, these are all going to be kind of the same. So Jen and Maggie have 6 buttons. Shade 3 of Jen's buttons to show the number of buttons that are red. And it says shade 5 of Maggie's buttons to show that are red. So let's go to Jen. It says shade 3, 1, 2, 3. And Maggie, shade 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you have a pencil, that's fine. You can use a pencil. Now, how many of Jen's, it says write a fraction to show. How many of Jen's buttons are red? 3 out of how many? We got to add the rest of them. Don't say 3 out of 3 because it doesn't work. It's 3 out of, let's go back and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 out of 6 buttons are red, while Jen is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 buttons are red out of 5, 6. 6. So since 3 is less than 5, we know 5 is bigger than 3. 3 is less than 5. 3, 6 is also going to be less than 5, 6. So who has the greater number of red buttons? It's Maggie. Remember, same denominator. Basically, if these two numbers are the same, we're not even worrying about it. We're not even worrying about it. If they are the same, we'll just look at these two numbers. It's when these numbers are different that we got to take a better look. All right, you got to pause it. Pause it. I'm going to go on. It says use a fraction strip, but we don't have one, so we're going to use this. At a craft store, one piece of a ribbon is 2/8 yard long. Another piece of ribbon is 7/8 yard long. If Sean wants to buy the longer piece of ribbon, which one should he buy? We're going to compare 2/8 and 7/8. We know that on a number line, a fraction to the left, to the right is greater than a fraction to the left. On a number line, a fraction farther to the left is less than. So if the number is this way, it's less. This way, it's more, just like a regular number line. We have 1, 2, and 3. If we go left, we're going left, less. And if we go right, we're going more. Same thing. It's the same exact thing. We're not even going to look. So we're going to compare 2/8 and 7/8. So on the first one, I'm going to shade in 2. Okay. On the next one, I'm going to shade in 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can obviously look at this and tell which one is more. Let's number our number line. 0/8, it's 0. We have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8, which equals 1. Okay? So, which one is closer to the end? Compare the lengths. 2/8 is to the left of 7/8. It is closer to 0 or what? It's closer to 0 or less. 7/8 is closer to 8/8, which is the whole of 2/8. Or 7/8 is to the right. I'm sorry, that means 0. 2/8 is closer to 7/8, so it's closer to 0/8 or 0, because 0/8 equals 0. 7/8 is closer to the right of 2/8, so it's closer to 8/8, which equals 1. So, which is bigger, 0 or 1? We know that 2/8 is going to be less than 7/8, because 7/8 is going to be greater than 2/8. So, which piece of ribbon should he buy? The one that is 7/8 yard long. Okay. I know this is a lot of numbers and it can be a little confusing, but understand if the denominator is the same, we know 2 is less than 7 and 7 is greater than 2. You got to understand 0 out of 8 is 0. Okay. If you have a pizza that had 8 pieces and you have 0 in it, 0 left, you have no pizza. If you have a pizza that has 8 pieces and there's 8 left, you have a whole or 1 pizza. That's how you got to look at it. Anna and Omar are decorating the same size bookmarks. Anna covers 3/3 of her bookmark with glitter. Omar covers 1/3 of his bookmark with glitter. Whose bookmark is covered with more glitter? Compare 3/3 to 1/3. So we know when the denominators are the same, they're divided into the same size pieces. We got to look at the numerator, which is the top number, to compare both pieces. We know that both fractions involve third size pieces. If it's a third size pieces, they have 3 pieces. So, there are third size pieces. We know that 3 pieces are more than 2 pieces because 3 is greater than 2. So 3/3 is greater than 2/3. These numbers are the same, so we know 3 is greater than 2. So, whose bookmark's covered with more glitter? Well, who's attached to 3/3? That is Anna. Simple, guys. This is a really easy lesson. Really easy lesson. Need to pause it here, pause it here. Going on? It says draw points on the number line to show 1/6 and 5/6. Well, here's 1/6 and here's 5/6. Which one is greater? If it's to the right, it's greater. So which one is to the right? 5/6. So we know 1/6 is less than 5/6. We're pointing to the left, which means less. Now compare the fractions. All these have the same denominator. All of them. So we're just going to look at the numerator, the top number. Which is greater, 4 or 3? Well, I know 4 is greater than 3. Down here, what? It's less than. 1 is less than 4. Think about where you're going to get more food. That's the way you want to eat. 1/2 and 1/2. They're the same, so they are equal. Lastly, 3 and 2. What one is greater? Well, 3 we know is greater than 2. This one, same thing, on your own. All same denominators. 2 is less than 3. 2 is equal to 2. 4 is greater than 2. And 0 is less than 2. I'm going to get more food eaten here. Same, here, and here. Now, it says write a fraction that is less than, greater to, or equal to the given fraction. We want a fraction that's greater than, so we got to keep this the same. Any number greater than 1, let's just use 2, but it could be any number bigger than 1. Now, we have 6. We have to write a number that is less than 12, so guess what? I'm going to use 11. It could be 1 through 11, 0 through 11, actually. Now it has to be equal. We know this one, 8 over 8. Let's keep 4 the same. Give me a number that's greater than 2, because what is greater than 2? I'm just going to use 3. It could be 3 all the way up. The lowest you could have is 3. Those are fractions that make these equations true. Make these number sentences true. Number 14, Carl finished 5/8 of his art project on Monday. Tyler finished 7/8 of his art project on Monday. Who finished more of their art projects? Well, ask yourself, which is greater, 5/8 or 7/8? Same denominator, so we know that 5 is less than 7. 7/8 is greater. Who did 7/8? Tyler. The next one. Miss Endo makes 2 loaves of bread that are the same size. Her family ate 1/4 of the banana bread and 3/4 of the cinnamon bread. Which loaf of bread had less left over? So we have 1/4 ate and 3/4 ate. So they only ate 1 out of 4 pieces, which means there's 3 left. These, they ate 3 out of 4 pieces, which means there's 1 piece left over, right? So we know 1/4 is less than 3/4. It's how much they ate. If it said how much they had left, it would be different, but they ate. Which loaf of bread had less left over? What's the one with only 1 piece? And that is 3/4, which is the cinnamon bread. When it comes to these ones, guys, you got to really pay attention to the wording. If you just skim through it, you're not going to understand it. It talked about how much they ate. If you have a candy bar and eat 1 piece and there's 4 left over of the big Reese cups, and then you have another Reese cup, which is the white chocolate, and you eat 3 and have out of 4 pieces, you only got 1 left of this one, so you ate more of this one, which means there's less left over. Need to pause it here, pause it here. The next one. Todd and Lisa are comparing fractions. What statements are true? So, is 1 less than 4? Because these are the same. Yes. Is 5 less than 4? No. Is 2 greater than 1? Yes. Is 5 greater than 4? Yes. The next one. Gary and Vanessa are comparing fractions. Vanessa models 2/4 and Gary models 3/4. Vanessa says 3/4 is less than 2/4. Look at Gary's model and look at Vanessa's model and describe the error. So the biggest thing is, look, they're about the same size. Actually, this one is actually maybe a little bit bigger. It says, describe Vanessa's error. Well, Vanessa says that 3/4 is less than 2/4. Well, what is her error? Her error is simple. It's right here. She says 3/4 is less than 2/4, which means 3 is less than 2. It really, or it should be 3/4 is greater than 2/4. It should be that. That is the first part of her error, okay? Her model looks like it might be true. Both our models might be true, but we're going to see. I'll pause. Hold on. The error is the one models is not equal. And I'll tell you what that means. This one has to be the same size as this. Where it's not the same size, guess what? This is a large pizza, and this is a small pizza. If you eat one piece of large pizza and one piece of small pizza, can you say you ate the same amount? You can't. You can't. They have to be the same size. If the wholes are not the same size, the fractions are not the same size. So, explain how to correct Vanessa's error. Pause it right here if you need to. Explain how to correct Vanessa's error. We have to make the wholes the same and fix the number model. And let's draw it. So we're going to draw one hole, and we're going to make it into fourths. 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to write 1/4 in, or I'm going to draw, let's do red for Vanessa, and let's do violet for Vanessa. So she says this shows 2/4. All right. And I'm going to draw a model underneath that, the same exact model. I'm going to use the same exact distance. That's 2/4. And I'm going to show 3/4 here. And I'm going to draw it red. 1, 2, 3. And this shows you 3/4 is greater than 2/4. That shows you directly 3/4 is greater than 2/4. Pause it here if you need to pause it. Now, the practice homework should be pretty easy, guys. All the denominators are the same, so just look at the top number. Is 3 bigger than 0? Yes, so 3 is greater than 0. Skip number 18. And on the back, you guys definitely should be able to do that. It won't be too bad, okay? Other than that, it's a pretty short and easy lesson. You guys have a good one.